Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Nurul Ifa binti Izaba. Today I'll be presenting to you on a topic Islamic banks and their zakat distribution practices. For the introduction, corporate information can be channeled using annual reports and financial statements. The required information to be disclosed by Islamic banks as instructed by Bank Negara Malaysia in their policy document is whether banks are paying zakat or not. So if they do, additional information should be disclosed. Number one, on the responsibility towards zakat payment, whether they pay zakat on the behalf of the shareholders or on the business. And number two is on the method applied in the determination of zakat base, whether they use growth method or working capital method or other methods. And number three is on the beneficiaries of zakat fund, whether they channel the zakat fund to Baitul Mal or to the poor or other prescribed beneficiaries. So as you can see here in the slide, these are the beneficiaries of zakat fund taken from financial statements of banks in 2019. So the beneficiaries of zakat fund are diversified from state zakat collection center, non-government organization, schools, mosques. Some others give zakat to universities, and some others even disclose which universities they give, which were UPM, IIUM, UCAM, and UITM. And some others give their zakat to eligible individuals. From the previous slide, we can see that the methods of zakat distribution can be classified, can be divided into three, which are self-distribution, zakat institution, and wakalah. So for zakat distribution, zakat is being self-distributed by the bank. So bank acts as zakat distribution in this case. And secondly is on the zakat institution. They pay zakat to zakat institution. So zakat is and by paying zakat to zakat institution, they are eligible for method number 3, which is wakalah. So in this case, zakat institution will refund a portion of zakat payment, zakat that they pay to the bank so that they can distribute this zakat. In this case, banks act as an agent to the zakat authority. For the methodology of this paper, for this study, we use purposive sampling and semi-structured interviews. So why purposive sampling? Because we want to discover Islamic banks' zakat distribution practices, how they distribute their zakat. So we eliminate banks that do not pay zakat. So why semi-structured interview? Because the information found in the annual reports are not sufficient. So we employed interview to collect this data so that we can classify the information to the previously mentioned zakat distribution method. So there are 16 Islamic banks in Malaysia. We exclude 4 banks that do not pay zakat, and there is 1 bank that refused to be interviewed. So the final sample was 11 Islamic banks. So we conducted interview with Sharia officers that work closely with zakat distribution. So they know precisely on how banks, on each bank, how they distribute zakat. So we analyze the data using computer assisted qualitative data analysis software, CHADAS. We choose Atlas TI among many others in the market. And in analyzing data, we have to use anonymity because this information are considered as private and confidential, so we cannot disclose the name of each bank. So so from the findings, we found that there are 4 things. self-distribution, zakat institution, the combination of the two methods, and lastly on the wakalah. And falling under team number 1, we found out that only Bank G self-distributed their zakat. And the bank, because of the bank zakat distribution objective, it has to be impactful. The zakat program has to be impactful. So they claim that if we give zakat to zakat institution, it is impossible to trace how or where the money goes. So they plan their own zakat distribution program, and so that they can measure the impactful. So falling under team number 2, we found out that 6 banks pay their zakat to zakat authority, but they chose which zakat institution will receive the zakat and how much each zakat institution will receive from them. So this means that not all 14 zakat institutions in Malaysia will receive zakat from them, and not all will receive the same amount. So falling under team number 3, the combination of the two methods. 4 banks divide their zakat fund. So the management of each bank will decide the proportion, and normally the bigger portion will be channeled or will be given to self-distribution. So they choose whether they give zakat to all institution or all zakat institution, or some others, or they will give to some zakat institution. So falling under team number 4 is wakalah zakat. So all banks except Bank G and Bank K are eligible to apply for wakalah zakat. Bank G do not pay zakat to the zakat authority, so it cannot apply to this program. And Bank K, although they pay zakat to the zakat authority, however they do not exceed the minimum zakat payment. So the wakalah program are subject to terms and conditions. Some zakat authorities put tighter restriction and some others do not. So the bank tend to choose the zakat authorities or institution with a lesser restriction. So for the discussion, we compare our findings with the findings from Zabah and Hassan. They, by looking at banks' financial statement, they categorize that 2 banks pay zakat to zakat authorities, 2 banks use self-distribution, and 5 others use both methods. However, this study discovered that only 1 bank self-distributed their zakat, 6 banks pay their zakat to the zakat authorities, and while 4 others pay and distribute their zakat. So the information on how Islamic banks distribute their zakat is deemed important. So they have to disclose this. So that confusion like this can be avoided. Disclosing information on wakalah zakat can further enriches the non-numerical information that can be found in the financial statement. Although BNM does not require banks to disclose this information, they are always welcome to disclose more. By doing this, they can be the good example for other banks to follow. For the conclusion, the objective of this study is to explore how Islamic banks distribute their zakat. We found out that self-distribution method is the least popular, while payment to the zakat authorities is the most frequently used in distributor method. So BNM draws the minimum requirement of information to be disclosed. However, it's up to the Islamic banks to disclose more information than required. That's all from me. Thank you for lending your ears. I am Nurul Ifa binti InCEBT. Is there any question?